Okay, I see all of you recording too. Okay. Yeah, you guys, are you watching? It says setting up your meeting.
We are here.
Because I want to turn the volume down as soon as it pops up.
All right. So it popped up to our thing. Let's see here.
Oh, it did. Well, it's 20 seconds behind, so we're probably going now.
All right, so I see that it's live, I think.
We are live, I'm pretty sure. But I don't have any chats on there, so
sorry, guys.
Excuse us if we're bumbling around here. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
I see it. It did not connect to our thing, but let's see.
It didn't connect to the one you had set up?
No.
I've clicked on the notification, Heather, and we are live. Okay. Can't see the chat though. That's annoying.
You know what? I'm going to share this in my group really quick.
Hi, everyone.
So, hey, y'all. Hang on. We're working out the glitches.
Yep. Go ahead.
We love y'all. So
there we go.
Kaz, I gotta find this chat somewhere. Are we not on the one that Heather set up?
No. Do you want me to send it to you?
Yeah, I guess if I'm not seeing it right off the bat here.
Hey guys, bear with us for a minute while we figure out all this technical craziness.
I'm going to put it in our chat on Telegram.
Yeah.
And beautiful. Then I'll take and put that to
Instagram.
Yeah,
sorry. That was my fault for not. Oh, okay. So I think we're live. I'm just going to go ahead and say hello to everybody. And I apologize for this. I didn't think it was going to work. I've been sort of fumbling around with this, but that's how it goes. Yeah. Okay. And how do I get the chat up?
So you'll have to click on that.
I think I can without looking at myself. So I see we have 7 watching now.
Hi, okay. Kimberly. Kimberly said hi.
Oh,
hello, Kimberly.
Kim. Hey, Kim. All right, so we are definitely live. So hello, everybody. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to be here with you today. Thank you so much for joining us. I have got the lovely Kaz from Journeying Soul Therapy and Warrior Tony from Ropes and Wings joining me today for another live chat. We did this a few weeks ago and we had so much fun that we decided to do it again. And today we're going to do this in a little bit of a Q&A style where we're going to go through some questions that we've been asked and see if we can bring forward some good information for you. So I want to say welcome to Kaz and Tony. And
hi, Heather.
Hi. So I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves and just tell everybody what you do and how they can find you. Kaz, you want to go first?
Hello, everyone. I am Kaz from Journeying Soul Therapy. I'm an SCHH practitioner, and you can find me at journeyingsoultherapy.com, or my YouTube is Journeying Soul Therapy.
Easy as that. And Tony, how about you?
Hey, y'all. I'm Tony Mowry. I run Ropes and Wings. It's actually a ranch, and I am doing Soul Center Healing Hypnosis as well. So we're trying to set up the ranch. When abundance starts flowing in, I might be able to build better. We're trying to set up the ranch to be a healing center where we can do Soul Center Healing Hypnosis and other natural modalities. So you can find me if you want to book a session on Soul Center. Find me at ropesandwings.com, and it's under my quantum healing page. You can book a session with me to have a session. And then also my social media is all Ropes and Wings as the handle. So you can find me there. So I guess I'm the warrior healer.
Warrior healer. Absolutely. Thank you. And of course, my name is Heather and I'm with Quantum Healing Within, also an SCHH practitioner and trained in Beyond Quantum Healing Hypnosis, 2 amazing two amazing modalities that just blend together so well. So I absolutely love using those in client sessions and doing this incredible work. So thank you all for being here. Guys, should we just jump right in? We've got a list of questions that we've been collecting from our groups and our videos that we've had some people asking. And so we're going to see if we can answer that for you guys and bring a little bit more information forward about hypnosis, entities and attachments, and all things ascension as well. So Kaz, do you want to get started and ask one of your questions?
Hey, Kaz, before you start, let's anybody in the chat, if they have a question that they want us to answer on the way, make sure type it in all caps, because we're watching it and so it stands out to us, and then that way we can answer that question on the live as well.
Good idea.
Carry on, Kaz.
Right. Okay. First question, guys, from O'Reilly. I'm not going to say her surname because I'm not sure she wants me to say it or not. O'Reilly says, I am French living in the UK. If I do a session, will I or my guides be talking in French or English? If I'm under hypnosis, will my mother tongue interfere during a session? Which is a great question. I honestly haven't experienced this in any of mine. And I guess maybe a fifth or maybe a quarter of my clients don't have English as their first language. So, I mean, it hasn't happened to me. And I think if I did, I would just say, could you please repeat that in English for me, please?
Right.
How about you, Heather?
I've not had that experience either. I feel like I've heard maybe that there's been a practitioner that's had that happen, but I can't recall. I will say that interestingly enough, after reading these questions, in preparation for today's chat, I was listening to Blossom Goodchild. I don't know if you guys know Blossom. I just absolutely adore her. And she was talking this weekend about channeling, a story that she shared about channeling. I think it was a long time ago. And she began to channel in another language that she did not speak. And there was a person there for the channeling that was her language. And she was a little skeptical of channeling, and her belief systems didn't really match with that. But once she heard Blossom channeling in her language, she thought, okay, this is a sign. So I thought that was interesting, because obviously if you can channel in another language, that can probably come through in a session. And I think I've even heard that it can come through even if it's not your first language, like you could potentially speak another language. So that would be interesting.
The beauty of that is, and I just had it happen today in a session this morning, is we are working in the quantum realms. So we have anything we can use to translate that. My client actually was on a spaceship, and the aliens, or whatever you want to look at them, were talking in a different language, and she had a translator box in her hand. And once she used it, she was able to translate what they were saying. Now, she wasn't speaking in a different language, but the beings we were talking to were, and we have the capability of getting that translated because we're working in the quantum realm, and it's absolutely beautiful how that happens. So we could get it. I mean, I've never had it happen to me either, but I mean, you could be speaking in a light language, you could many different things. And I guess what we would do is just be able to clarify in a language we could understand to get information if it's needed. So
for sure,
it could happen, but it would not interfere at all. I guess that's probably the basis of that question. It would not interfere in a session whatsoever. We can flow and work around it, and we can have a lot of fun with it too as well. So
and the client would be able to listen back to their session and know, I mean, they would know, of course, what they said. So
right. Perfect. Beautiful.
100%. And that was a great question.
That was a great question. Excellent. Tony, how about you? What you got?
Well, here we got from the Cosmic Heart, and it was on my mind. So hopefully she's listening. Her first question is, what would you say to someone who is nervous about having a session? She's wanted one for over a year, even studied BQH in April last year, but she's too nervous to pull the trigger. She's listened to loads of sessions and she's starting to feel a bit more ready, but still dragging my feet with it. Any words of encouragement around that topic?
I think if you're even considering it, you should just go for it.
Yeah.
You know, if that thought has entered your head, just take the plunge, jump in, and don't be scared. Nothing bad can happen. It's all good.
Don't overthink your sessions. Go into it with just, this is going to be so much fun, just to see what comes through, to see what sort of experiences I have, and to be able to connect with my higher self. I'm a big overthinker and an analyzer, and I found myself doing that in my first sessions, which I try to talk a lot about on my channel to help people to understand that it's normal to have, to be anxious and to be nervous before your sessions. And it took me a while to sort of get out of my own way. And now when I have a session, I just go into it with an attitude of, I'm going to allow whatever to come through. I'm going to allow myself to see or not see whatever, my experience is. And when you shift that mindset and you stop worrying, you stop overthinking things, that's when you have the most incredible experience.
Actually, Heather, I don't know if you shared this video, but you have a good example in a session with some encouragement to come out. And it was about that we really don't have to worry about anything, because it's just happening. We're guided, we're protected, and things are just happening. So there's really no worry. The angels, the healing teams have got our back, and healing is going to come out of that session no matter what we do as practitioners. And it's really beautiful to have that kind of protection and support behind us to do that. So I mean, there's really no fear. And what I got from my personal session with Laura was, I mean, I had a phobia of heights where I wasn't belted in or buckled in. I always had that phobia. If I didn't have a harness on or I didn't have a parachute, I was scared shitless. I didn't want to do anything. And also I had a phobia of deep water. If I didn't have flotation, I was scared to be in deep water. I had to get to the shore as fast as I can. Well, having that session actually had me get rid of those fears, but it had a bigger overarching theme to it. And that was to push me into this healing and this practitioner stuff. I realized that I just needed to do a swan dive off the deep or the large cliff into the very deep flow of energy. And I would have nothing to worry about. And that's just what I did. I jumped off the cliff, done a triple flip swan dive into the big deep, and I'm just letting it carry me away and see where it goes, because it's a beautiful, fun ride. Fun ride.
You do have to just let go. You just have to let go and surrender to the process, and just trust yourself, trust your higher guidance. What I've been told is when we end up in one of these sessions, there's a greater reason and purpose behind it. And even if it doesn't turn out exactly, the way that you want it to, or you expect it to, it still really is perfect for you. You're getting more in that session than you can possibly imagine. Your guidance is right there with you, because they know that you're there and they know what you need. And you get a lot more, even if you don't feel like you do. You really do.
I was going to say that, Heather, and whatever happens is happening for your highest good and what you need at that moment in your life.
Yeah.
And Santa put it good there. He goes, I was nervous, but you need to remember that the session is an exciting journey. And it really is. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful and exciting. And just like Heather was a bit nervous before coming on the live, but it's a journey. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. And
Don't worry if you mess up technically.
that nervousness is a great feeling. I mean, for me it is a great feeling, and some people it might bog them down, but I mean, it's a good feeling to be nervous, to feel alive.
Yeah, and I think
Santa had a great session. Her session was just incredible. That was a really fun one. We had some entities that I think I told her after, I really enjoyed speaking with your entities, like the attachments. It was so fun. I was like, they actually made me feel joy, which may be odd to say, but yeah, she had the most lovely attachments that we released back to the light. I'm sorry, Kaz, I think I interrupted you.
I was just going to say, what was I going to say? I think we're being asked at the minute, like we were saying before we came on, to just try new things and expand, and yeah, I feel like we can't just be sitting still. We are being kind of pushed to, move forward and just try new stuff at the minute, aren't we?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I feel like, a lot of those I work with, you guys probably as well, are healers that are starting to come back into their, into their power. And so I know for me personally, I went through quite a bit of healing work, still working on it, but quite a bit of healing work. And now I'm in this role, and I see a lot of healers that are coming through that are starting to remember who they are and their power and reactivate that. So it's almost like a domino effect. You work on your healing, you help other people, they help other people, and it spreads out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Raise the roof.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I had a lovely client today who I've seen her twice now. And today she said she was going to start training in SCHH.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So there we go.
Beautiful.
Wonderful. Let's see. And you got, I had a session with Kaz, and I still get information now from the session. Yeah. It's amazing what comes through. I felt the chakra
yeah, it can
alignment
go on for months, these downloads and healings that take place.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It opens that. It just opens you up to a higher connection. Because we're clearing out a lot of those blockages too, that prevent most people from having that higher connection. So when you come out of a session like this, you have an even stronger connection because you've gotten some of that gunk out of your system.
Yeah.
Surrendering to the deep flow, and the stuff just keeps coming, and you open that connection. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So
another great question.
Let's see what I've got on my list here. Okay. So this is sort of similar to what we're talking about. This is from Francisco. When you are in a trance, if your mind is hearing your thoughts and judging or overthinking them, have you fallen out of trance? What do you guys think?
I don't think so. No, in fact, I posted a video last night. I was going to do it today and I couldn't wait to get it out. So I posted it last night. And I transcribed it, and she was visually seeing, and she was receiving messages. But at the same time, her conscious mind was questioning what she was being shown. So she was almost having this conversation between her conscious mind and subconscious mind through the session. But she was very much in the hypnosis state. And I see that quite a lot, especially when it's people's first time doing it. I know I did that too.
Me too.
You do, and I say it's like, your conscious mind is over here. I mean, you're aware of everything that's going on, and you're even fighting with your conscious mind because it's back here going, that's bullshit. There ain't no way that's true. You're making it all up. Yeah. And it's hard to get, to the point where you just, okay, that's fine. Thank you. You could just, that's good. But you can't make this stuff up. I mean,
No.
It's.
I always say to clients who are really stuck in that, it's one thing if you're working with one or two clients and they could lay there for 2 hours and make a session up, but hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people have had these sessions, and we can't possibly all be that amazingly creative where we can make up this information for that long. You have to realize when you look at these sessions across the board and the similarities between them and the experiences, that it's got to be coming from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and this has been going
100%.
back, sweet Dolores brought all of this in so long ago. Can you imagine what she thought when she started connecting to all of this higher dimensional information? I can't imagine, because there was nobody out there that was doing this, or probably that she was connected to. So
yeah, incredible lady.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead,
Go,
Cass.
Tony.
No, go ahead.
Go, Tony. I was just going to mumble something. Go ahead. Go, Tony.
Well, she was a pioneer for sure. Dolores was.
Yeah.
And she probably had all kinds of problems. It's a constant fight. I mean, even going into my first session, I'm thinking that it's supposed to play across like a movie. I'm supposed to see these beautiful visuals, and that's not how it happens.
Mine either.
And every person says, oh, I must be making it up. I must be making it up. I already knew the answer to that. Well, you did already know the answer, but we are so pushed down and squashed down that we don't listen to that inner voice anymore, and when you let that flow happen, and when you let, jump off the cliff and jump into the deep flow, when you allow that flow to happen, that's when the best communication comes out. You're not, you're fighting yourself back here, but just allow that flow to come out and don't overthink it.
Yeah, I would say that I try to share that before we even start the session. Number one, it's going to feel like you're making it up, because you have to realize you're having the thoughts in your mind. So it's going to sound like you, the thoughts and the information that you have is not going to sound like a different voice. It's going to sound like your voice. So it feels like you're making it up because it's coming from you, through you. But also with, the consciousness, the conscious mind is still very active. You're very aware. I think a lot of people think that you go under or you go completely out of it, and that's not true. You're very aware. You can speak to the practitioner, and you just have to sort of put that conscious mind to the side, have the awareness of what you're saying, but just be in a place of allowing, not worrying about it. I always say, worry about what you're saying after you listen back to the session. Don't worry about it when you're saying it, because if you're starting to think, you're going to pull yourself out of that theta brainwave state, and you're going to not feel so deep. So you're going to feel like you're more conscious. Worry about what you say later. Just allow yourself to make the whole session up. Give yourself permission to do that, because it's okay. It really is. So that seems to help a lot. Yeah.
And most people, that's how their brain is working. I've only had one client who was somnambulistic, and she was in there.
Yeah.
And I was asking her things in a modern language, like, because she was on a boat, and I said, does the boat have oars? And she was saying, what are those? She had no idea what I was talking about.
Wow. She was really there.
She was there, but that's only happened once for me. And I know Dolores, that's the kind of client she would look for, I believe, the ones that would go really, really deep.
Yeah. And maybe back then maybe you needed them to go deep. Maybe now we have such a better understanding of how this process works. And really, for me, it's just about getting you out of your conscious mind, which is the beta brainwave state, which is what we're in now, and getting you over into that theta, so that you're just nice and relaxed. We all have the ability to connect very easily to our higher self, to our guidance. It's just normally that conscious thinking mind that sort of gets in the way of that information flowing through. We don't spend enough time quieting the mind and allowing that information to flow through, where we get comfortable enough with knowing what is ours and what is the higher guidance.
Yeah, just trusting the first thing that comes in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, just trusting and going with the flow.
whether that's a
Yeah.
color or symbol, a smell, or a word, or an image.
All of the senses. Yeah.
Right. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Amazing. Right. Is it my
Very
turn?
good. Absolutely.
And Dovel says hi because she had a session with you this morning.
That's Davili.
Oh, sorry, I pronounced it wrong. I apologize.
Hi, Davili. Yes. So I have.
My hillbilly accent couldn't pronounce that.
You know, I always have to check with clients how to pronounce their name before I do. Even if I think I know how to pronounce it, I always check.
Mm-hmm.
I do too. I ask because I butcher names as well.
But
Yes.
there's nothing worse than getting their name wrong through that whole
Right.
session.
Oh.
Okay, so my next question is from Luna Rose. Luna, I've taken this and split it into two parts so we could answer it more clearly. When you have a session and you think it's all better, but then you have more pain or trauma, where is that very deep pain in the past life? So, I mean, from my point of view, you could have pain from any number of lives. So I guess it's going to be hard to pinpoint the exact one. I know I've had sessions, and I spoke about it before, where it wasn't a pain from a past life, but it was a pain from some sort of AI attachment. And I know that took about 2 or 3 sessions just to clear that. There's so many things where that pain can come from. What do you think, Tony?
I mean, it's like an onion. What we're doing is we're opening up communication with the higher self and higher realms. And when we removed those what's causing the pain on this layer, there might be something else underneath it, just like layers of the onion, like she said. It's kind of like that. And sometimes there's a certain point that, you know, we can only handle so much at one time. So sometimes that stuff is left for later to take care of. And so we're opening up communication, then more stuff surfaces that we find out that's even deeper yet. Or we got to the point where we took off all we can handle to take off for the day, and we need to do it in another session because it would just be too much to handle. I mean, after a session, I feel like I got a full body workout. So there's a point where you just can't do no more. And that's good. And it's perfectly divinely planned. And that is how it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
I've had multiple sessions where the higher self has come in and said, enough work has been done for the day. We need to continue this in another session. It can be energetically draining on the client to do that much work. And it can also be draining on the practitioner to have to navigate and find all of those things. So sometimes the higher self comes in and says, you've gotten enough. We need to continue this work. There's more to go. But there are, like you were saying, there's so many levels and layers of what can be healed, removed, released in a session. You've got traumas and things from this life that you have not dealt with that can come up in a session that need to be healed. You've got who knows how many past lives where you ended that life with some unhealed wound, some trauma, some tragedy, something that you're still holding on to. And that can come back and surface to be healed and released. Then you've got all of the things that can be attached to you from the AI technology, the nanotechnology, the different types of attachments, things that other beings have placed on you to keep you small and to keep your light dim. You know, we've got the earthbound souls that didn't cross over correctly, that are just looking for help and end up becoming attached to our energy field. And then you've got the darker and the mischievous energies that just mess with you because they can, because they know you don't have the knowledge or the awareness that they're around and in your environment. And they see you and they can. I mean, that's what they say. because we can. So it's so much in a session that we can be dealing with. That's why they're always a little bit different. You never know what to expect or what you're going to experience, because there's so much that needs healing. And sometimes it takes multiple sessions to start to clear that off. The healing process just seems to go on and on sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah. Santa's saying she felt exhausted for 2 days following the session. Yeah.
Right.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
It's important to rest and recuperate and drink plenty of water. Yeah,
the energy that you're receiving in a session too, the healing that comes in from the guides is incredible, from your higher guidance, your higher self, or just the energy that we're working with in the body. I don't think we really even have a full understanding of how the energy works in the system. I mean, we're clearing, we're releasing, we're healing. For me, and I know you guys too, probably use different colors within your session that hold different frequencies. And what I've been shown is, moving into the future, this is going to be one of the main ways that we'll be able to heal the body is through sound, through the colors, through the different frequencies and vibrations that you kind of put all of that together. And we're going to learn how to energetically heal our bodies, as opposed to, some of the more traditional ways that we do it now.
Mm.
And
sorry, Tony.
go ahead, Kaz.
No, I was just going to move on to this. There was a kind of second part to the question.
I was going to put a point to that. Now I just lost my point. So go on to the next question.
Sorry. So Luna Rose also asked, does working with the client and the current energies help or make things worse? I guess she's talking about the crazy ass energies that are around us at the moment.
Crazy ass energies. I love it.
And I don't think it affects what we do or helping the client really, because we're taking you somewhere else and we're working with different energies anyway. So no, I don't think so. I don't think it makes it better or worse.
I guess that's the reason I forgot my point, because it makes a sense to this point here is, we're working on the etheric body. And once we remove those blockages and traumas, it gives the body an environment to heal in, so the body can continue to heal. And those pains and stuff are still going to be coming to the surface and lifting out of the body for days, months, weeks prior, because the body's healing. Things are coming back online, cells are coming back together. And I guess I don't feel that the current energies right now make it tougher. I just think it is. It's just like you said, it's layers of an onion. Once you lift off the first layer, the body can heal. We cleared the blockage. We cleared that shell that was keeping everything confined, and everything's coming back online. So then more pains or more healing is occurring. And I try to reframe that pain. If I feel something like after a session or any time now, I reframe it. It is me healing. It's my body healing. Ooh, that's nice. Ooh, that was a little, because you are tense. You're like, you got a full body workout after a session. It feels good. It is a healing feeling with that pain and stuff like that. And I think you have to reframe it and kind of look at it and turn it into healing, no matter what it is.
Yeah. Lovely.
Did I go around the barn in a circle?
No, you were perfect. Yeah, I agree. I don't think the energies necessarily are affecting it. I do wonder if, as everything sort of, we're in this place where a lot of the darkness is rising to the surface. And I hear different things in sessions, like, I kind of wonder if it's pushing a lot of these entities and things to the surface, where they're now starting to attach more and more. I feel like, and maybe it's just because this is part of the work that I'm doing, that I'm seeing more and more things attached. And I just wonder, like, have we always been this way, or do we just have an influx of darker energies that are surfacing now because they're sort of being pushed off of this planet with all the light coming in? It'd be interesting to know if it's always been like this, or if we're just starting to really see it now because the light's pouring in and the darkness is scurrying.
And we're seeing it, or we're getting lighter, so they're just more inclined to come to us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I'm seeing, especially with the darker ones, we're raising our vibration up so much that they're just getting to the point where they're fed up and ready to go, because they're not able
to feed on us.
They can't feed on us. They can't do their job anymore. What have you? So they're just ready to go. They're ready to
over it.
hit the road.
They're over it too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I had that this morning in the session. There wasn't much of a convincing or a fight or anything. We're ready to go. Yeah, we're done. We're tired of it. We're scared. They kept running away from the dark. They had the dark lords or whatever. I'm ready to go. Take me.
Yeah, I've been noticing that too, Tony. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just please get me out of here.
Just get me out of here. Help. Will someone please get me out of here?
Which is good. I don't like it when they make it difficult and they're nasty and they just want to stay. But I haven't had one of those for quite a while now.
And it don't take much convincing too, even if they do initially want to, they're funny. They've been doing this for a long time and you won't get me. But it doesn't take much convincing to try to get them to see that what they're doing is not so much fun anymore.
Yeah.
So interesting. All right. Is it my turn? I don't even know where we are. Whose turn is it?
I think I took the last one. It's Tony.
Did you want to go with your next question?
Yeah, I'll go. And this was also from Cosmic Heart. Her other question was, what is something you could imagine being a support to you as the quantum healers? I'm working on building a community for healers as a way to hold space for the space holders. You guys always support others. How would you like to be supported? Big love.
So, sorry, right, okay. I don't know how Laura does it. I don't know how she keeps up with everything that she does, because I'm finding it difficult just to have time to do silly things. Like on my website, I know there's work I need to do there. There's lots of little jobs. That's how I would like to be supported moving forward. But at the same time, a lot of the information that we use is quite personal, so I wouldn't want to share that with anyone. But there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, isn't there? From forms and editing videos and this and that. I have no idea how Laura does it all. I guess that's how I would like to be supported moving forward. What do you reckon, Tony?
Well, I was going to go to Heather there since I asked the question.
Yeah, well, when I think about it, I think one of the things that I see most when I'm working with clients over and over again is not having a community of like-minded people that are on the same path. And I know Santa, if she's still on, she and I actually had this conversation when we worked together, and she expressed, wanting to have a place where even those who have had these sessions, that have had these experiences, can come together and talk to each other and share. And I said, that's a fantastic idea, because there are so many who are on their awakening journey and they feel so lonely. You can't talk to many people about these things because they're not ready they're not able to understand them. And typically those of us who are very awake and aware are not surrounded by others in our community or family or friends that are where we are. So it makes it very lonely and very challenging. So to have more of a safe space to come together where we can share our experiences and not feel judged, where we can connect with other people and find our tribe. I think that is so incredibly important. And I've even thought about, I have a Telegram group, which it's okay. It's just more of me sharing and then, trying to comment on different things. But I want everybody to be able to come together and be able to connect and talk. I don't think I'm using Telegram in the best way that I could be, but, I've even thought about where would that community be? Facebook just doesn't feel good to me anymore. No. I thought about creating another Facebook group, and there's just something that sort of, I hit the wall every time I try to go that direction. Mm-hmm. So more communities, more ways of connecting would be amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I absolutely agree with all that, and the Telegram groups is a great, what you have set up with your quantum healing within is a great way for your people to chat back and forth. I'm not sure, because I'm not on the discussion of that. I don't know if that's a good way for them. Do they say that that's a good way for them to connect and
I don't think I have I've got to look at my Telegram group. I don't think I have it set up. Like Laura's is just a chat. Mm-hmm. And I think I have a chat, but I think you have to become a member of the chat. Right. I need to do some more research with it and figure out how to get that working better.
Right. So you put out a post, and then there's a discuss button where they can
underneath
get
it,
in that chat group and talk amongst themselves about together. So I mean, it's a good way to do that. I think it's a really, Telegram actually has a great place for that to do that. One of the biggest things, because we are basically in business for ourselves, trying to do this all, trying to bring healing to everybody and trying to keep websites up and the social media going, because that is our advertisement, if you'd say, marketing. I don't like to use those words, but it really is a way for us to spread our light. Mm-hmm. So if all you would have to simply do is just share our content, subscribe and comment on it, and that pushes it up to the top of the algorithm. So the more that you do that, the more that the content gets shared and gets out to the people who need it. So that's a big support, because that supports us by helping assist to get the information out there where people can come to us and get our assistance as well. So the more people it's shared, the more people we can help. It's great. And everybody can do this. The Soul Center Healing Hypnosis is something that I think it basically just pushes and promotes you to open up that communication, and you can start healing yourself. And you don't need us as a practitioner, but it's a good start. It's that first step to get everything cleared and get in the flow.
Mm-hmm. So, and Jenna Bean said, I have a session this coming Friday. I didn't think I would be nervous, but I definitely am. Glad I ran across this live cast. So thank you so much.
Perfect timing.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The so Cosmic
Hearts, yeah.
She's there.
No, she's Facebook. I agree.
So Facebook is more to pushing out the content that they want.
Yeah.
Instead of
that's what I feel. They lock it down.
Right. So they're pushing out the content you want to get, whether it is to buy something, whether it is to do this or that, but they don't push out content. Where IG kind of works pretty good with like, it keeps it in a timeline of the people you follow. So it's a great announcement place for me. It's a great, a place that I can make an announcement, like announcing this live going on, putting it on IG, and whenever I have a new video come out, putting it on IG so it gets out to the people. So I guess just sharing our content and helping us share the light so it can get out to more people is the best way to support us, I think.
Yeah. Well, we need a new platform, don't we?
Sheila is asking, we're going for the same one. Explain a little bit more about AI.
Beautiful. Who you want to take? You want to take that, Kaz? You want?
Well, AI is just an iconic It's just a tech that has no light, and it can attach to you in lots of different ways. I have seen so many different kinds of AI, and it's always been directed at light workers, at starseeds, at people doing healing. They try to stop us from speaking. They try to stop us using our hands. They try to block our third eye, our heart. What I've noticed with me, though, is it seems to be getting weaker. I don't know if you guys have experienced this, almost like it doesn't stick as well as it used to.
Well, I'm going to go back to that session that I had this morning too. There was an AI in the back of her neck that they had already disabled. It was already disabled. They smashed it into a million pieces, and there were some pieces still left in there. And I just had the higher self, remove it with white light and get rid of the rest of the pieces so we didn't cause any more problems. But it was already done. It was already taken care of. But we see like boxes. I mean, the different things that we see as far as AI, box in the throat. My wife's session, she had a cage around her head that kept any information from coming in or going out from her. The heart center, a big place, they block that from us sharing our light or speaking our truth.
Third eye and over the crown, they place a lot of plates and things to block that. And I had a session just recently where the guides specifically talked about a type of technology that is on our planet right now. My dog may bark. Somebody just knocked on the front door. Sorry.
That's right.
And a type of AI technology that's here that shouldn't be here. It's an off-world technology. And they said, you guys don't even really have the ability to understand how powerful and what this technology can do. And that we need to step up our clearing game, because it's almost like a nanotechnology that can just very easily attach to us if we don't have any sort of good energetic hygiene practice. You can get this stuff sticking to you very easily. And they simply said, just ask your guides. They repeated in so many sessions that we are always here to help you to remove these things and get these things cleared off. But you have to ask, like, we are not going to interfere with, free will and the laws that we have, but ask us. So that's been a new thing that I've been doing, is asking them to clear any AI or this nanotechnology a couple times a day if you can think to do it. Yeah, it's crazy though what we see in these sessions that's attached to people, and it is trying to block your abilities. It's trying to keep your light dim. It's trying to prevent you from becoming the healer that most of us are, or all of us are, really.
Wisdom of Lunar Rays or Lunar Rose. I'm not sure if that's the same person that you had questions, Kaz, or but anyway, they say, oh wow, they've been ill for a month and have a strange cough that occurs suddenly when as I speak, so bad, bite my tongue and struggle to breathe. So when
something in the throat,
this sounds quite common to me.
And we're talking about these AIs are in the energetic body, and so once we remove that, then the body can function again as it's supposed to and bring them on that healing. Our bodies heal naturally. I mean, they'll heal from everything. We remove that AI and those things blocking or hindering that healing or that function. And then the body can heal.
I would suggest to Luna Rose to work on her throat chakra. Just sit with that and try that for a couple of days or a week and see if that helps.
Ask your guides, just ask them to help you, go into like a meditative state and ask Archangel Michael to come in and remove that, and just be in that meditative state and allow him and the guides, the angels, to do that work. And continue to do that. Bring in some light, some blue light, or whatever color light that you're guided. White light is perfect. And just visualize that light flowing into that throat chakra and expanding out. Do that work with the guides.
And then Adriana is saying she's concerned about how AI affects the children and how can she help them. So
you had a session about this recently, Heather. Did you not?
Yeah, I have. Actually, what came through another client session is that my own kids are doing a lot of clearing work. They have that ability, and they're actually clearing some of this nanotechnology off of other kids that they're around that have this. And so the guides came in and said, because they bring it home, then I clear them. And what had led me to this was I have some issues that I've been dealing with, and I'm working with an intuitive, functional medicine practitioner who's amazing. And she's helping me with my issues, but it stemmed back to this nano that's all around us, and they're clearing for others, and then I'm clearing for them. And it's quite amazing what we're dealing with in our reality. But what I would say again, what they said to me is ask the guides, ask your guidance, call in the angels, whoever you feel connected to, that you feel comfortable with, and ask them to clear this technology. Ask them to do it also on behalf of your children. And then make sure that you are visualizing not only yourself, but your children being surrounded in white light. I like to use a pyramid because a pyramid's a very strong geometric shape and it has a lot of power to it. So you can just simply visualize a beautiful pyramid of white light placed around you, around your children, or you could just see light in whatever way comes to you. But ask the guides, do this daily, and just keep visualizing that clearing. We all have the power to do this clearing work. We're just, I think many of us are just now beginning to tap in and truly understand that just through focus and intention, we can energetically send healing, or we can clear, or we can do these things. It's easier to do them in a hypnosis session because we're nice and relaxed and we're, allowing that process to take place. We're expecting it. But you can do, I try to tell my clients, you can work with the light and the energy in the same way that we do these sessions. Anytime you want to on your own. You don't have to have a practitioner. It's just helpful, to have somebody guiding you, but you could continue that process.
Yeah. Important to shield yourself, everybody. Yeah. Get the shields out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kaz, you want to use your monkey analogy?
No, you like to use you've stolen it now. Go on, just use it.
It's yours.
You can have it. Pay me later.
Well, sometimes we're all healers, we're all warriors, we're all creators, but sometimes you might need the assistance of some other healer to help you get the tick off your back that you just can't reach. And so it's important to reach out and get that help and assistance you need. And we can do, once we open up the communications with ourselves and that connection to our inner voice and the divine, we can actually do the clearing on the children really easy by just simply, bringing in their guides or angels or healing teams and surround us all. But we can tap into our children's, we're connected to them by our hearts to begin with. So we are connected to them, but we just get permission from the children's higher self to make sure that it's okay to take whatever is going on with them off of them. And then just focused in. Once you get that permission, focus in on the problem and remove the entity. So it's really, it's made to be harder than it actually is, just because they don't really want us doing this. It's so simple. All it takes is thought, imagination, and intention. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't
Every
need
morning.
to be right. You don't need to be a meditating monk to do this.
Every morning, every evening, I just put protection around myself and my kids and my house and my street and my country. You could just go on.
I do that too. Just get bigger and bigger and bigger.
And sometimes I do different colors. I'll start off with the white layer, and then I'll do pink, and then like a big ass rainbow.
I love it.
So Amy Oh, I don't even know if I
Amy
should.
Licious.
Amy Licious.
Delicious. I like that.
She asked if we communicate with the AI before we remove them. Now, it just depends. Now, there's some AI that's actually ran by a consciousness. So in my session, I had an AI box in my throat that was keeping me from speaking my truth. But it was ran by a programmer, a little laughing evil minion that thought he was so clever because he was programming this AI to continue its job. And so in that case, where there's a consciousness attached to the AI running the thing, making sure, I mean, they're there just to make sure that it stays online and stays functioning. We talk to the consciousness. The AI doesn't have a consciousness, so there's no communication with it. We just have them remove that once it's detached and disabled and transmuted. And then we have them take it out of the universe because it doesn't belong here. It goes someplace else where they need it somewhere else. I have no idea why they would, but so
Yeah,
if that,
I had one placed in my throat, and I've never experienced anything quite like this. It started, I was doing a session and I went right in the induction into a coughing fit, but it wasn't like regular coughing. It literally felt like something was gripping onto my throat. I couldn't catch my breath. So thank goodness for the mute button. And I'm drinking water furiously trying to get, to where I could start talking again. And so I made it through that. And then the next session, it happened again. So this wasn't happening any other time but the sessions. It was only right before a session or when I was going through the induction that it was like something was activated. And so the third time it happened, I knew something was going on. And I just happened to have a session with Kim scheduled. And Kim and I sort of do these collaborative sessions where we'll do general questions that people want to know. And then we bring our own sort of personal questions. And at the end, I asked, what's going on with my throat? We called forward my guides and they just said, you've got, a little piece of AI technology in your throat that's been placed there to try to prevent you from speaking your truth and doing these sessions. And Archangel Michael came in and did something, had me visualize some, I think, blue light going into the throat. They took it out. And I've not had a problem with it since. And they've told me just ask for protection before you do a session. So I always include that in my pre-session protection ritual, to ask for extra protection around my throat now, because I don't ever want to experience that again. It was intense.
No. And was it you, Heather, that gave us all the tip to protect your screens, computers,
yes,
phones?
Yeah, that was crazy too. I had a client who felt like she had some dark entities in the home. And so we just called in Michael and I said, can you please check the home and see if there's anything in there? And he said, yes, there is. I think she had a couple of things that they could remove, but he said there's a portal open next to her son's video game system. So obviously or I guess not obviously because we wouldn't do it, but when you watch things of a darker nature, we know those video games they're all killing, and my son does them too. He loves them. But when you're watching those things, it can open up, or that energy can open up a portal. And in that portal can come these darker energies. I mean, darker energies, mischievous, whichever way you want to look at it. But he said it's a good idea to have a regular practice of placing light around any of your screens. So your TV, your computers, your laptops, your phones, your tablets, any of those devices, just to have a regular protection with those. And I like to ask Michael to come in and clear or close any portals. So I'll just ask him, can you go through the house and look for any portals and close any open portals in or around the home? We don't realize how we can let those things in. And I want to say, I think, oh gosh, Santa, if you're still there, yes, I think it was Santa's session where she even said she was looking at some videos that had a little bit of a a more difficult energy surrounding them. It was about children and some things that she had just, was sort of following, and it was making her feel, it was making her feel off when she watched them. And her guidance said, those videos are more for people who don't have an awareness of what's going on and need to be made aware of this issue. You are aware, so you can sort of steer clear, because that energy has an effect on you. We don't realize that what we ingest with our phones, our movies, and things like that, they have a great effect on our energy and our frequency, and can even open up portals within our homes if we're not careful.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I wish I would have known.
Heather.
I wish I would have known about all this when I was a paramedic all these years.
Yeah, right.
I never realized all the stuff that I went into, what we're exposed to. So
Yeah.
it's
For
crazy.
sure.
Just crazy. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So I lost whose turn it was. Or Kaz, did you want to expand on that a little bit more? Or you?
No, I think we're good. It kind of led on to another question I saw earlier, though, about shielding, portals, protecting yourself.
Right.
I don't know if you want to skip to that one and finish.
Let's do that. Whose question is
Oh,
that?
was that? I think that was on my list, wasn't it? Are you talking about the daily practices?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's by Janine.
Okay.
And Janine asks, she would like to have some guidance on daily practices for clearing and protection, removing attachments, and closing portals. Yeah, I think we covered that.
I think we did
pretty well, but I think just like I said, call in your guides if you don't have a regular routine. Just ask them to check your home. I always say, just cleanse and clear my home of any negative energies, negative entities, any beings that are not here serving my greatest and highest good, placing protection around my home, placing protection around me, my children, my animals. Yeah, all you have to do is say it and set the intention. It doesn't have to be anything fancy.
No.
Just
and it doesn't have to take too long.
No.
Crystals around your home, gridding your home is also a good thing to do. Doing the lemon test, where you have some lemons in each room and see which ones go moldy. That will tell you if there's any negative energies in your home. Yeah. Tony, what do you do to protect your home?
Can you imagine?
No.
Well, my protection for myself is, of course, I look like a damn Viking. So my protection every morning or when I go out into the world is putting on the whole God's armor and gird myself up ready for, so nothing is going to get to me that I will not allow. And I mean, I just envision that, me putting on the boots all the way up through the chest plate, the helmet, strapping on my shield of belief, carrying my sword of truth, and everybody got to remember the love bow. You got to carry the love bow.
I don't have a love bow.
No, you got to get a love bow.
We've all got one.
We got a love bow.
I think I've got a love sword.
and the funny thing is, no, you got your sword of truth. That's to cut out everything that's not supposed to be there.
Gotcha.
So, but the love bow, this is so fun, because if you're going down the road and someone triggers you or something triggers you, shoot love arrows or joy arrows at it and see how your day changes. See how their day changes. It's amazing. It really freaking lights up everything. So, I mean, that's how and it's so simple. It's just the thought. Thought is faster than the speed of light. It doesn't take long at all. It doesn't take long to do any of this. And I have a really kind of a neat story, and it comes from my wife's session again, personal experience. But it's funny, like how Kaz said, crystals help guard the place. So we purchased this place. I live on 250 acres in the middle of nowhere, which is great because I can come out here and hide and just be away from everybody. But the previous owner was killed on this property, tragically. And so when we first bought the place, we noticed that our inside dogs would, when they were in the kitchen or different places throughout the house, on the bed one time, actually. They got either a slap on the ass, a pinch on the ass, or something. And they actually let out a squeal because it hurt. Well, now, I believe that's that poor fella that was killed here. He didn't like dogs on the bed, and he didn't like dogs in the kitchen. And he gave him a pinch on the butt. And, fast forwarding then to my wife's session, which then I come back and how this happened. So my wife, she was getting groceries out of the back hatch, and she saw a person in her window with a flannel shirt. Looks, there's nobody there. So she asked in her session, it was a nice man, but asking her session what that was. And well, he thought he could communicate with her and let her know that he was there. So then after that session, so we released him to the light, helped him back home, which is great. The energy changes on our farm. It's beautiful. I really think it's changed. So going back to what Kaz says, that was a long story to get back to what Kaz said about crystals. So I asked my wife, I said, when do you recall the dogs stopping getting pinched or whatever, whenever they were in a place they weren't supposed to in the house? And she goes, that was when we brought crystals into the house.
Wow.
So, because we started getting crystals and we'd place them in the house, kind of grid the house out, and place them different places. We like to look at them. They're beautiful.
Mm.
But once we did that, the poor fellow couldn't get back into the house again because of the high frequency of the crystals. It's just a weird story to kind of set that home on how simple it is. I mean, you think a crystal, it's just a beautiful stone. No, it has more power than that. And it's really simple. But that high frequency, he was at a lower vibration because of how he died, and he couldn't enter the house anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So
that is a great story.
That was a long ass story.
It's a great story, though. I was on the edge of my seat, like, what's going to happen?
So yeah.
And in the end, he made it back home. So
right.
that's really all they're looking for, isn't it? They just want to go home.
Mm-hmm.
I had we moved in this house. My dad built it, and we had all of these crazy things that started happening right away. Doors were opening and things were smacking on windows, and orange juice lids would just rise and fall by themselves. Our vacuum cleaner would come on in the middle of the night. My son's little choo-choo train upstairs just started in the middle of the night, which that one was just a little much for me. We're both standing at the bottom of the stairs going, who's going to go upstairs and figure that out? But I remember coming home one day, and I just was like, okay, I don't know what's going on, but I just started talking, and I said, listen, I don't know who's here. I don't mind you being here. Like, maybe we moved in, this was your spot, and I'm so sorry. You're welcome to stay here. Since you like to vacuum in the middle of the night, if I left out some laundry, you're free to help with the laundry too. I would absolutely love it. But then I said, but I have a feeling, and this is before I knew about any of this stuff that we're talking about today. I said, but I feel like there's a light somewhere around you. And if you could just find that light and go into that light, I feel like that's where you're supposed to be. And do you know, after I said that we never had another thing happen in this house? Well, I don't know if maybe I just intuitively knew to say that, because there was, I didn't understand what I was saying. It was just like, go to the light, go into the light. And I don't know, that was just amazing. An interesting experience.
Well, I had a really dark thing in a house when I was young, and I didn't know this, and I didn't have the intuition. We ended up moving from that house, and I often think, did I just leave that thing there? Anyway, I wish I'd known then what I know now.
Right.
But if I asked it to leave, if I said, bugger off, you're freaking me out, it would go, but then it would pop back again.
Yeah.
and they're just looking for help to get back home to the light. And
Yeah.
it's just it's simple. It's so simple.
They're just trying to get your attention.
It's just crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Shall we?
All right.
Who's next? Shall we do another question here?
Yeah, let's do another question. Is it me?
I think there's a kind of general thing with the rest about, just having that fear of doing a session.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what to expect to make me feel more relaxed?
Here's what I wanted to talk about. I thought this was really interesting. Someone shared it in the Telegram group. PR asks, with the addition of entity removal to your sessions now, it's made me wonder whether schizophrenia could possibly be a case of entity attachment or possession. I thought that was a really great question. And I actually checked in with Laura because she has, so many more sessions just to see what her experience was. And she did say, that part of what causes schizophrenia could be a split psyche. So the trauma that they've been through, it's like the psyche splits into different parts, which creates the schizophrenia. And that needs to have the parts reintegration, where you bring those all back and create the whole person again. But I'll tell you, the thoughts that go through your head. I've had so many clients now that I've worked with that came in with all of these things that were like, you're unworthy, you're worthless, why are you here? Just things that they're constantly hearing. And after a session where we do the clearing, and typically because we speak to these entities and we sort of find out, what problem did you cause and what were you telling them? We can sort of trace all of those things back. But I've had more clients that have reached out after a session and said, the thoughts in my head have stopped. Like, I did not realize that I had all of these thoughts just constantly playing over and over. I thought they were mine. I didn't realize that they belonged to someone else. And now that these energies and entities have been removed, it's like they have a quiet space in their mind. So can you imagine how many people throughout time have had multiple attachments and they're hearing the thoughts of these other entities, or they're experiencing the pain that being went through, they're experiencing the emotions, and we just chalk it up to they're crazy or something's wrong with them.
Gosh, it's horrific, isn't it, really? But that's so beautiful that they've got in touch to say that those voices have gone. I get lots of people coming in with the same kind of thing, Heather, the negative thoughts, and it's really sad. Really sad. And it's just so amazing to get rid of these. It's lovely.
Yeah.
And I look back onto my years as a paramedic and how many people have I hauled off to the ward because they were hearing stuff and saying crazy stuff. And I'm kind of thinking the same thing looking back, knowing this now, how many of those were in empty attachments. And of course, like Heather said, they actually cause schizophrenia and stuff by inducing and bipolar and all those psychoses that they can manipulate and use by inflicting a trauma on the person. And Catherine here says, would chronic drug abuse influence or make someone more susceptible to entity attachment? And absolutely so.
Absolutely.
Even a lot of alcohol, if you're drinking a lot of alcohol, that's called spirits for a reason, because it lets you open and acceptable to entities attaching on, because you're at that lower vibration. You're at that lower, you don't have your protections around you anymore. You're at a lower vibration and things just suck to you like a magnet.
Yeah, Laura and I had this discussion. I think it was just last week, because I said, I just got to admit, I really love a glass of wine. I'm not gonna lie. I love it. I enjoy it. And it was so funny because I had a session. It was my session, and we were asking about or talking about things that I was doing health-wise that I was on a really good path with. And they were suggesting that I needed to take a little bit more of a break and rest a little bit more because this work is energetically draining. And I'm a go, go, go person, not a rest person. So they were gently nudging me to rest a little bit more. But they also came in and said, my higher self came in and said, and we want you to know it's okay that you have your glass of wine, that is not going to affect you because your frequency is so high and you have the ability to transmute the energy of that substance. But they said, however, if you take it past 2 to 3 drinks, that's when you're getting in the zone where the protection around you is weak. Mm-hmm. And you are susceptible to those things that can get attached to you. And it's just part of our reality. It's interesting because I actually wrote a blog post when I first started going through my awakening. I created a blog. It was called Awaken Ascending. I mean, that's original, isn't it? But I wrote a blog post about entities and how they attach to you. Little did I know that a few years later, I would actually be helping to remove those entities that attach. But in that post, I wrote, about alcohol usage and drug usage, and it just, it weakens that energetic field that surrounds you. It creates rips, tears, fractures, holes, things like that. And those little things can just slip right through and they can attach to that field. So you just have to be mindful of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think if your vibration's low, and you're going to go out and have too many drinks, it's just going to bring you much further down. If your vibration's pretty high and you're going to enjoy a couple of drinks, I don't think that does you any harm, actually.
Yeah.
No.
So
just keep your vibrations high.
And the guides have said that too. I'm sorry, Tony.
No,
really quick. Because I have some clients that come in and ask about marijuana and is this hurting me? Is this affecting me? Because I really enjoy it. It makes me feel calm. It helps me relax. And across the board, what I've gotten is in small amounts, it's absolutely okay. It's plant medicine. And if we used it correctly, it actually has health benefits and things. But again, it's taking it to the excess. If you're doing it too much, that can again weaken that field and it just leaves you susceptible. So everything in balance, if you are balancing that, it's okay. If you're keeping your frequency high, if you're doing your healing work and your inner work, it's going to be okay. I feel to enjoy those things that you love. It's when we don't have the awareness, which most of us don't, unfortunately, of what's around us. And then we take it too far into the extreme that just opens you up energetically to having something.
Yeah. And I also think it's important how that plant is grown. If it's grown in a really high vibe, loving, nature's way, that's one thing. If it's grown in a factory for money with no love put into it, that's going to bring your vibration down too. So it's important, as it is with food, try and figure out where has that come from? Who's grown it? What am I putting in my body?
Yeah.
I want to tie that chronic drug abuse or alcohol abuse back to entity removal and how that can occur too as well. So a lot of times, and it even actually goes back to like schizophrenia and that where, we've all had those drunken nights where we've gone out and don't remember what the hell happened, or we said stuff that we shouldn't have, and we're like, that wasn't me. Where'd that come from? Yes. So it could very well be an entity attachment. The other thing we have to think of is if you have a lost soul that was drinking excessively, ended up killing themselves drinking or taking on a drug overdose, that soul is thrown out of their body in a state where they were under the influence. They were under the influence of drugs or alcohol. So they're thrown out of the body. They don't know what happened really. and they still have that desire to get that hit, get that drink, or get a smoke. I mean, even smoking could be part of it too, where all of a sudden they found they lost, didn't go to the light, didn't transition like they were supposed to. They find you, and then you realize that, oh, all of a sudden, I don't know why in the world it is that I feel like I'm drinking too much, or you suddenly pick up a drug addiction. Well, it might not be because it might be because you might have picked up an attachment. And if you
Yeah.
think back to when that started, you were at a low point in your life, probably. You were probably out at a bar or wherever that the soul was hanging out at because it was confused and might have picked it up there. So it's just
Yeah.
really crazy to think about, but the possibilities are endless.
It's so endless, isn't it?
Mhm.
I mean, every session you go into, it's like you come up with something brand new. You think you've seen it all, and then it's like, nope.
No,
Let me throw this at you.
The thing is, anything you can imagine that could possibly exist does actually exist somewhere.
Mhm.
And I do wonder, like, again, as we're going through this awakening and we're starting to understand, there's so much that we are just completely unaware of, which just blows my mind. But I do wonder if these topics, like the entities, the attachments, the earthbound souls, are going to become more in our awareness. And I had another client that I spoke with the other day. She had not a near-death experience. She actually died. And when she came out of the body, she was in a really severe car accident, and she could tell you exactly what she experienced when she came out of the body. She said she can remember hovering over her body and looking down going, oh, she looks terrible. Like, what's going on? And it was her. She didn't realize as she came out of the body. And she said she could see that bright white source light that we guide the attachments back into, the entities, the beings. She could see that, and she felt very fearful of it. She did not know what to do. She said, and all she knew to do was to call out at that moment for help. And she said an angel came like really quick. She said it was the most beautiful thing that she's ever seen in her life, this angel. And it like took her arm, and off they went into that light, and they went flying into this light. She said it almost made me dizzy. And anyway, she gets over there, and they said, nope, you got to go back. And once she got over there into the light, she didn't want to come back because she could feel the love and that, that experience that sometimes our clients have when they go to source. She could feel that extreme love, but she was brought back. But she's a great validation of not all souls when they come out of the body, and especially when you die in a tragic accident, something that sort of jolts you out of the body, you still retain all of your feelings, your thoughts, your emotions. You don't just pop out in spirit and go, oh, I know everything. You still are very much connected to who you were in the physical body. And this is why we have so many lost souls, because we're not taught what to do. We're not taught to go into that light. We come out, we get confused, whatever you experience. And I think we probably have a lot more souls that are here than we can even imagine, because we don't teach, we don't teach each other how to go into that light, not to be fearful that only the body dies, not the soul. You're eternal.
Yeah. I mean, we're taught that, well, a lot of people I know are taught that this is it. When it ends, it ends. It's just darkness. It's nothing
one
else.
and done. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is really sad.
And what I've come to understand is you can create that for yourself. Actually, I was listening to one of Dolores's books this morning, and they were revalidating that whatever your belief systems are when you come out of the body, if you believed that you were going to hell because you thought you were a really bad person, and you really had that strong belief system, when you crossed over, that you could actually go into like a hell-like experience. I don't think you go to, I don't even know if there is a the hell like we think of. I think there's like a place that you create with your mind until you wake up and realize, okay, hang on, I don't have to be there. That was just my belief system that created that for me. It's interesting.
It's so fascinating, isn't it?
Mm.
So yeah, I do not believe in hell. That's not going to happen to me.
Right. Absolutely. So we are coming up, I think we're coming close to about an hour and a half that we've been chatting. I know we could probably go
We could just chat all night.
Let's just go. Yeah. Let's go for 2 more hours. There's though, Heather, there's 2 questions. Did you ask these questions, Kaz?
Which ones?
Is hypnosis like being in a deep meditation, and the other one?
No, I've lost them.
Oh, you did.
So yeah, is hypnosis like being in a deep meditation? Should we cover that? Is there anything else you guys want to ask before we end?
And the other question before we end, real quick, because I think this is probably important to answer for people that are out there, is your number 4. You know, I'm afraid to go under hypnosis. Can you tell me what to expect to make me feel more relaxed about it?
Yeah. So
let's hit those
kind
two.
of put those together.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So I'll just say, you want to go ahead?
No, sorry. Go for it, Heather. No, I was looking at one of your questions, Heather, how to prepare for your session. And I thought
those were just some extra topics I had that if we ran out of and needed something to talk about, but I don't think that's going to happen to us. No. So absolutely. I feel like hypnosis and meditation are very, very similar. Both of them, you're just putting yourself into a nice relaxed state so that you can connect. Again, you're not going anywhere. You're still very conscious. And you can get yourself into that theta brainwave state just doing a deep meditation. And so being afraid to go under, I feel like, and I know because I'll say it too when I put you under, but that has it almost makes you think like I'm going out of the body or I'm going to be out of the experience. And you're really not. It's more of a shift in your that brainwave, that theta brainwave state, which allows you to open up and connect into the quantum realm very easily so that you can connect with your guides, connect with your different life experiences. There's nothing to be afraid of because you're simply just relaxing and letting go and just seeing what thoughts, feelings, emotions, what comes through your mind, and then just bringing that forward. So it's super easy. Sometimes you got to get the hang of it a little bit. Sometimes you have to practice a little bit and prepare. But yeah.
It's something you do naturally all through the day. I know I find myself quite often actually totally drifting off, don't know where I am, what I've been thinking. And then I'm so, just naturally sitting in my garden, those moments where you're like totally gone somewhere else. Or if I'm cleaning my house, I like to clean my house. I'm somewhere else. That is a form of meditation for me. It really is. So I would say don't be scared to do the hypnosis because you literally are in it more times in your day than you probably realize.
Yeah.
And it's just an extended form of that feeling.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like. It's a daydream, that's all it is. And we're just there as practitioners to help get your visuals or what you're seeing out so you can see it yourself when you replay the video back. So and we go into this twice a day for sure, maybe more for me because I take a lot of retirement naps, but but you're in the state of hypnosis twice for sure, once before you fall asleep, and then when you come out of sleep you're in that theta brainwave state, and it happens so natural. Driving down the road, I mean, how many people have driven down the road and not remembered how they got there? You were basically in a state of hypnosis that whole way. And that's how TV works. I mean, most people were in hypnosis when we're watching TV. That's how the stuff is getting programmed because we're under hypnosis. So don't be afraid of it at all. It's a deep meditation. It's just that really relaxed state. And the us using the terms going under just doesn't do it justice and make it sound terrible. It makes it sound terrible. So
no, and even with when you're connecting with the higher self, I think some people expect like there's going to be another being that sort of drops in and you're going to feel this shift. And it's not like that at all. You are your higher self. Your higher self is you. It's that higher aspect of who you are. It's the aspect that has all of the information about this lifetime and even your past lifetimes. And so we're just connecting to that through that nice relaxed state so that that information can come through. Nothing is going to come into you during a session, even if you're channeling a higher dimensional being, which some clients are able to do. You're simply receiving that information. Like the way that I see it is you're receiving a transmission, sort of like to your pineal gland. It's like that pineal gland is the transmitter that's transcribing the frequencies and vibrations that are being sent, and then you're converting them into words based on the knowledge that you have in your mind, which is why sometimes it's hard for them to bring through certain information because we don't have the knowledge in here to convert those words into the right language to bring forward. So it gets a little disjointed or the information doesn't come in quite as well. But it's not that the being's going to come in and take over you. I mean, I think maybe that can happen in some situations, but in a hypnosis session, it's more of a connection that you're making between, those higher beings and that information, and you're just bringing it forward.
Just tuning in a radio station to get the right signal.
Yeah,
is really all it is.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I took it out longer there, but I just felt like those two questions there were really important for us to answer. And, so.
Those are good. Those are good.
But,
should we finish with that one from Santa?
What she said there about the look as she looks in the mirror?
No, it's Cosmic Heart. Sorry. Will you guys be doing these chats monthly, quarterly?
Yeah, I think we should. We should do it monthly.
We'll be doing them again. Yeah.
Well, definitely. Yeah. I think we ought to do it monthly.
Yeah.
Monthly, Tony. Okay.
But when I said this, or what one of the Santa said, she said she looked different. She cried because she looked different in the mirror. She could see the distance. That's the best part of our sessions. I love to see when the client comes out of a session, like just today, like I was going to put the video on YouTube. She goes, I don't want people to see this. I go, you are absolutely glowing. You are vibrantly glowing. It's beautiful.
It's a brand new person, isn't it?
Why hide that? And I even got in front of the mirror after my session and go, man, dude, you look different. You look pretty good.
You're looking good.
You looking good. But it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I love the transformation too. Like they come in and they're so defeated, just they have so much on their paperwork. It almost just hurts your heart to see. And then you take them through and they come out and it's like, holy shit, what just happened? What did I just experience? They feel like a completely different person and they look like a different person. Even when they come in the way that they're speaking sometimes. And I know a lot of that is nerves. When you first come in, you don't know what to expect, but just seeing the glow, like you said, oh goodness, I love it so much.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good place to end.
Should we end it here, guys?
Yeah, because we could just go on forever, literally.
I think so. Thank you. Got to note, thank you for all the work you do, spreading love and light for peace and happiness with you all. Thank you so much to all of those who joined us today in the chat. We're so grateful. We hope that we answered at least some of your questions and we helped you in some way to understand hypnosis and to understand some of these crazy concepts that boggle the mind, doesn't it?
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
So I'm going to leave all of our information is below, and be sure to check these guys out. Make sure you're following their channels, liking and subscribing and sharing those videos. We appreciate all of your support.
Absolutely. Raise the vibration.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Love you guys. Love you all.
Love you all.
Love you.
Say it.
End this.
Yee.